Hi, I'm Dr. Melva, your board-certified radiation oncologist and serial entrepreneur and investor. Welcome to the 1% Code podcast. I help top income earners create multiple streams of income to support the career they love or the one they want to love again. Learn more on the 1% Code podcast. Hello, and welcome back to the 1% Code podcast. I am your host, Dr. Melva, and I'm so glad that you're here joining me on this next episode. Today, we will talk all about leverage. I want to teach you how to leverage your six-figure income to create a seven-figure net worth without quitting your full-time job. Sound good? Well, let's dig in. So, leveraging your six-figure income to create a seven-figure net worth. Like, it sounds super exciting, right? And maybe it sounds a little scary. Maybe it's something that you're actually already doing and you want to put a little spin on what you have going on. Or maybe it's something that you've never considered. Well, either way, let's go ahead and get to it. So, I want to start by just putting this on the table, okay? It's going to sound bougie. If you don't know me very well, I'm going to apologize in advance. But every opportunity is not for you. If you're not like driving while you're listening to this, I just want you to write that on a little sticky note. I think this is where a lot of us are getting it wrong as high income earners. We're doing things that are meant for the masses and they don't really apply to us because we've already put in a lot of work. We've checked off the boxes. We've mastered so many levels of education, financial success, that there are other opportunities that are available to us, that are available to you. And I want you to be aware of those. Okay. So when we talk about leverage, I am discussing with you leveraging opportunities that are available to you because of your degree, because of your training, because of your network. And when you leverage, you want to leverage not only your time, your energy, your money, your financial positioning. It sounds like everything, right? But leverage is important and it's an in-depth concept, okay? And clearly, like, we can't cover everything in 10 or 15 minutes, but let's see what we can get in because I know you're busy. So I want you to leverage your time. All right, so opportunities that are available to you because of your degree. Now, that could be doing consultative work if there's an opportunity for you to maximize your time where you're paid more because you have the experience and it's something that you can easily add on to. That could be an opportunity that's available to you. If it's not consultative, it could just be the fact that you're in the circle or network of the type of people that this income stream needs, whether that's an investment opportunity, a business acquisition. I'm trying to think of some other things, financing that's available, grant funding that's available. It's really limitless. But as I've mentioned in previous episodes, when you're looking at leveraging your six-figure income and you're looking at turning your job into a hobby, when you're thinking about the 1% code, it all starts with strategy. Leverage is one of those strategies. Leverage is also one of those, bonuses or gifts to self because you can have so much more. So we're going back to every opportunity is not for you. What I find a lot of us in the 1% do, and I'm not knocking you if you do it, but I just want to bring it to your attention. We tend to do things that on the surface look as though they would be rewarding, and I think because we've had so much success in our own career where we've made it to the six, maybe, multiple six, some of us seven figures stream, that we feel that success translates over automatically into streams of income outside of the 9 to 5, outside of your career. Well, what happens is typically those of us who are six-figure income earners are at the point where we are at the top and of the structure of staff, for example. And we tend to attract people to work for us that work for us and maybe don't work for us. Let me explain. When I first started online, I realized I'm a physician, I'm a board certified radiation oncologist. When I first started looking at other streams, and a lot of those were online streams of income, and even the real estate investing, because those are two of the earliest streams of income I had, I tended to hire staff and have people work for me, whether that was contractors, teammates that were dependent on me as the strategist. They were dependent on me as the really like the lead head honcho. And it was a lot of back and forth. And looking back, I would have done better if I'd hired people that could work independently. And I see a lot of us doing that. Like, yeah, you may be a great physician. Yeah, you may be a great lawyer. You may be a great PharmD, but that doesn't mean that you've had the training to sustain or create additional income streams for yourself and you know how to run that team. You need to bring someone else in there that has a skill set that you don't. And I said that really fast, but if you have to rewind it, I hope that hits home for you, because that cost me a lot of money. I lost a lot of money because, I was hiring people that looked up to me as a physician and they had not worked with a lot of high income earners or physicians. And it was like I was their, you know, prize client, but they weren't really who I needed that was qualified to help me in, said investment to propel me forward, to help me leverage. It was more of a, hey, this is exciting that she's going to trust me and I can work with her. But and it's weird because, like, speaking this out now, it sounds as if I didn't do my due diligence in working with the people. I think it was so much that I didn't know and I wasn't aware of because I didn't have the community of support, which is really why I've started the private community, the 1% Code Collective. If you haven't joined me, the link and information are in my bio on all social media profiles and below this podcast. Um, because you need community, you need network to know, like things that you may not know or be aware of. It's like subconsciously you could be hiring or working with people and things not working out for you because you're doing what you do in your career, which you've identified with. And when you want to scale and leverage your 6 figure income to create a 7 figure net worth, you're going to have to do things a little differently. Okay. So, for example, in your network as a high income earner, you have opportunities to be around movers and shakers in your industry and other industries where you have the opportunity to get into, let's say, for example, friends and family rounds for startups. It doesn't really matter what your career is. I guarantee you are talking to or surrounded by people who will give you that opportunity to invest early in a lot of different startups, whether that's tech startups or, industry startups, depending on where you are, that you could leverage your income because you have the cash to invest and you have the, kind of the buy-in right there. So that's an example, and that's happened for us based on our network. Let's talk about money, okay? Banking, relationships. Many banks have programs for high income earners, whether that's doctor loans, physician loans, and it's the concept of shelf products, SHELF. Not sure how many people are aware of those. A lot of us probably learned about those, especially in the doctor, community, physician community. But what we've found is it's more important to build relationships with bankers, and it doesn't have to be because you need the loan or you need the money to start your investment of choice or additional income stream of choice. It's more of the opportunity. Creating relationships at the bank, starting with your career, starting as an employee, which many of us still are, it adds leverage because bankers, mortgage loan officers, small business lenders, they have a huge network and they spend their time looking for people that want to put their money into the institution to grow their portfolios. So they hear about deals that fall apart where you could come in, collaborate, lend, fund, borrow, so many things. And they also have shelf products, which means they don't sell them out to other, like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, for real estate. They keep them in house, which means they have more leniency as far as the interest rate, the terms, the renewals, um, and are you leveraging that now? Do you have an excellent relationship with a banker or two where they know your name, they know what you do, they have trust and rapport with you, where they could help you to get additional streams of income set up based on your relationship, based on their ability to have shelf products. Now, we've personally had success with smaller local banks because they value community members that are making change and a difference in the community, which I know many of you are, just given your career and positioning. With relationships, oftentimes you do less paperwork, so you're leveraging your time and you get those insider opportunities. You have bird dogs working for you. I can't tell you how many calls, emails, letters we've gotten about opportunities where they know, our investment style, what we're interested in, my husband and I, and we have opportunities that maybe other people may not have. So that's one of the ways that the 1% code teaches you to think about money differently. Leveraging your six-figure income, these are the types of things you look at. What's right in front of you? What are you doing every day that can turn into additional streams of income for you? Money, opportunity, time. Okay. This is the 1% mindset. Is this helpful? I hope you're learning some things here on the 1% code. For those of you just joining, we are talking about how to leverage your six-figure income to create a seven-figure net worth without quitting your full-time job. So we've talked about banking and relationships. We've talked about opportunities that are available only to you because of your degree, training, and network. We talked about friends and family round for investment, banking opportunities. And again, I'm going to say this one more time just to be competitive, but every opportunity is not for you. I think the ones that are shiny, a lot of people are doing, those are not necessarily the best ones. It's the ones that people are only talking about in the 1% circles. In my group, the 1% Code Collective, around your network that you want to listen for to leverage. The other thing that I think we absolutely have to discuss today in speaking about leveraging your six-figure income is collaboration. I'll never forget, I went to this conference. It was probably, wow, like 6 or 7 years ago now. And there was a billionaire. I won't disclose his name, but I thought he gave an excellent talk. And the word that he used, and it just like spoke to my heart, was collaboration. And he talked about how much of his wealth building and wealth portfolio was built on the foundation of collaboration. And collaboration comes in a lot of different forms. It could be collaboration with your money. So many of you may love your career so much and you want to build the seven-figure net worth, but you may not want to do the ins and outs. You may not want something that you have to touch all the time. So as franchise owners, we've had different levels of involvement of our franchise. And for example, the one that when we first had it, the Cold Stone Creamery, in the first year of ownership, we increased the sales by over $100,000 per year. And I guarantee you, a lot of that had to do with the fact that my husband and I did the parts that we absolutely loved, and we gave the parts that we didn't love to someone that did. So it was a huge collaboration effort. And with collaboration comes team building. So I've taught a lot of courses on outsourcing, but team building is really more than just outsourcing. I think outsourcing is what you do in the beginning when you're first getting started. But as I get closer and closer to mastering the concept of outsourcing, I'm really learning more about team building as I'm having people that are constants in my team, the multiple streams of income that we have to include two, about to be three franchises. We have maybe close to 30 to 35 employees, and I'm an employed physician, so I've never had, quote, an employee, because I don't employ, I don't hire my staff in my medical office because I'm an employee and they're staff of the hospital. So I've never actually had employees. I've worked with employees, but I've never been responsible. Whew, let's just say I'm not an HR person. I collaborate with HR. So, but team building is really the foundation of leveraging your six-figure income to create a seven-figure net worth, because having your team and the people, and I talked about this in a previous episode, it's the people that are going to take you from the next, step in your wealth portfolio. Whether you're going from six to multiple six to seven to eight figures, it's the people. So let me give you some tips on that. I want you to look at what it is that you're doing on a daily basis. I want you to look at your career, your life schedule, your hopes and dreams for additional income streams as we talk about creating leverage in your wealth portfolio. And the first thing that I want you to replace or outsource or bring on someone is in the tactical things that you are doing. So you just need to write down, like, every 15 minutes or so, what is it that you're spending your time doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis? And you could do this over time, or you could just do like a quick 24 to 48 hour kind of check. But for example, are you opening and sending emails? Are you scheduling deliveries? Are you grocery shopping? Are you meal planning? Are you looking for new workout plans on the Peloton? Are you scheduling, signing your kids up for programs and summer camps or tutoring? Are you balancing your checkbook? Do people even balance checkbooks anymore? Are you, doing, I'm just trying to think some of the things that I used to spend a lot of time doing. Like, are you finding yourself going to Walmart in the middle of the night because you ran out of toilet paper at your house? Like, introduction to auto ship. And now with Amazon Prime Day coming up at the time that I'm recording this in June of 2021, it may not be as big of an issue as it once was, but look at the things that you're doing that don't bring you joy, you don't like doing, but you have to do them. Someone else can do. It can be automated. It's something that you do over and over again, but it takes up your time and it doesn't give you leverage, right? And stop doing those things. And the second thing that you could stop doing, and this is still talking about team building. I'm going to circle back in a second. Just give me a second here. The second thing I want you to do is stop doing things that you're good at. Okay, because you're smart. You are a high income earner. You are already probably in the 1% or top 1% of income earners. And it's because you're good at what you do. But let me tell you this. There are things that you are great at, right? Like you are absolutely great at. You can close your eyes, go over it backwards and forwards in your sleep. Other people just look at you and are in this awe when you do and or say these things. That's what I want you to keep doing. And I want you to stop doing what you're good at. Okay. Because when we do what we're good at, we're comfortable. We feel like we already know things and we're missing out on opportunities to create leverage in our wealth portfolio. So, when you do a checklist of things that are taking your time, not making you any money, not creating any leverage in your life, they have to be done. I want you to write those down. I want you to pick 5 to 10 of those things. And this is where you outsource. This is where you bring an executive assistant on. Even if you only start with an hour a week, many, multimillionaires, billionaires that I know who have created leverage and think like the 1%, they started with an hour a week. When I first started, I don't even know if I started with an hour, maybe like an hour every other week. It wasn't very much, and I didn't spend very much because I was very new to how do I take these things off of my list and have someone else do them? And it's a balance. So build your team by cutting out things that you're doing that you don't need to do and start with one area and then evaluate that and see how much that changes your life. It frees up time for you to think about what's possible. It frees up physical space. And honestly, there's so many things that you can automate now. Like, I'll give you an example. One of the things that I put on automation, I used Amazon. This was when I first started. And I got this from someone else. Like, I didn't make it up. But I did the auto ship for like, this is going to sound silly, but like I did the auto ship for toilet paper and, toothpaste and soap and dog food. And I just set those things on a subscription service. And it sounds like so simple, but I'm telling you how grateful I am that I no longer spent my time unprepared or just, emergencies. Like it didn't happen because now like I'm stocked and it's going to come in the mail. And it seemed like it was a cost and they've really grown those subscription programs now. When I started this, I don't know how much of a thing it was. But those little things help. And then, I would set reminders before on things that had to be done as far as, like, and I'll bring on some experts to this show because I love some people who have mastered this because I'm good at it, but not great at it. But as far as like bill pay and reminders and, mailing things ahead and stuffing the envelopes, it's so many things you can do. But the point is, when you start to look at areas that you're spending your time and it's not giving you leverage, then you're just going to open up so many more possibilities to use the income and your time and your brain space to create that 7-figure net worth. So, one of the other things that I want to talk to you about, and we'll wrap this episode up, is prospering where you are. Okay, right now, if you're listening to me and you're a high income earner, a six-figure income earner, you're employed, this is one of the best opportunities that you'll ever have to learn billion-dollar corporate lessons. Many of you are probably employed by businesses that are in, the Forbes magazine, the Fortune 500, and you have ability to see how their processes work. Corporate lessons is what I say. Start to think about how that can work in your life in different ways. Like, pay attention to the next meeting you're in, how it's run. Look at the structure of, the corporations in your job, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a PharmD, or, VP of one of these corporations. You see how they bring people in. You see how they change business roles. You see business acquisitions. And when you're prospering where you are, it takes the sense, I think, of pressure of, I want to create a seven-figure net worth. I may not want to be, tied to these golden handcuffs. If you haven't heard or don't know what I'm referring to, you can head back to my podcast episode. I believe it was the first one I did where we talked about golden handcuffs and trading those in for true wealth. And you get an opportunity to really do well where you are, and you can kind of test out some things that you're getting paid to learn, and then apply those in your own business later. So the other thing that I will say, and the last thing, is that even if you're employed, you have a lot of control over your time. Okay, so whether that's how you approach your emails in your job, whether that's how you schedule to take on a meeting with other people, whether that's if for example, get an agenda before you meet with people, just think about your time. So, some of the things that I talked about, get an executive assistant for, putting it on automatic, a lot of this can be done within your job. Let me give you a quick example. So, in my clinic, I was given the autonomy to create my schedule. So I have certain types of patient appointments on certain days, and then I have emergency time built in. I have time for follow ups built in. My staff understands how to schedule in patients, how to accept phone calls. So there's standard operating procedures. And I found that I had better success that the difficult cases for me, or let's say like time, like if I have a very difficult, complicated medical history, I schedule that or have my team schedule that if at all possible. There are always there are always like exceptions to any rule, but it's scheduled at a time when my brain works the best, right? When my creativity works the best, when I'm my sharpest. And for you, that could be the morning. For you, that could be mid-afternoon. That could be late night. Really, when you pay attention to when you get the best outcome, that's where you want to put, you know, things that you want to get a good result in, you want to schedule that. And you can do that as an employee. And I don't, it doesn't really matter how strict your job is or your career is. When you step back and look at your schedule and only focus on what you can control, I guarantee you can leverage it more now, without quitting your full time job. So I hope these pointers are helpful. When you think like the 1% and you master the 1% code, things will start to change for your life. And I know they did for me. And I hope that this discussion about leveraging your six-figure income to create a seven-figure net worth without quitting your full-time job has really opened up your mind today. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear if you have tried any of these things, if you know anything about shelf products, if you've had an opportunity or network, if you already knew that every opportunity was not for you. Please contact me on any social media. I would love to hop on the phone and chat with you. And if you're not already a member of the 1% Code Collective, I invite you to join our private community on Facebook. Link in the bio on all social media channels, and the information will also be below this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today on the 1% Code podcast. I look forward to talking to you in the next episode.